Hey everybody, this is Seth Keeping It Real. I'm very excited today for several reasons, and it's completely ironic. I tell you, this was not planned, but today we're interviewing, she's nodding because she thinks it was planned. Today we're interviewing Hazel. She's a Just One Dime student in the Amazon arbitrage course. She did a extraordinary job in arbitrage, as you guys saw in the email, $67,405 over the last year. 2 of those months, she wasn't even working on it at all. She took 2 months off. That's the beauty of Amazon arbitrage. But even more ironic is today is Independence Day. I'm in America, as is Alan, and Hazel is in the United Kingdom. So I am celebrating my independence from England, but Hazel's celebrating her independence through financial freedom. And this morning, one of our staff who actually lives in London, his first greeting was, "Hello, Seth, I want to congratulate you and happy Independence July 4th. So I think Alan and I are going to start doing the little song from the Breaking Away from the Boston Tea Party. And Hazel's going to hold her ears. Anyways, no, I love you guys, and it's really, really cool. So I just like to have fun with history. I think history is fascinating. So everybody, welcome. Today we're going to do very similar as last time. We're going to start by asking questions so you guys understand, how did Hazel generate over $67,000 USD? Now, British pounds, that translates differently. I translate it over to US because most of you guys are in the US. But as you guys know, this is incredible. Like, this is awesome. And it shows you the power of Amazon if you use it correctly. I'm very proud also that she's a Just One Dime student. So she took what she learned from Saad and Alan and applied it. And now she's making money as a result. And that's what we love to do. That's what we do best, is we make money online and we teach people how to make money online. So Hazel, thank you so much for being here today. I can hear you. I did for a moment there.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep,
okay.
I can hear you now.
It's a pleasure to be here. I just hope I can answer the questions. But if I can't, I'm sure some of you guys can help me out.
No problem. And thank you so much for being here as well. I heard there's a terrible heat stroke right now in England.
There sure is. It's absolutely boiling again. Yeah. So I've got the window open, but hopefully it'll be okay.
Nice, very cool.
We don't have air conditioning like you guys.
Yeah, we do have air conditioning. I'm in Austin. If we didn't have air conditioning, I would probably be melting right now. It's over 100 Fahrenheit here regularly right now, which is, I forget what that is Celsius, but it's very hot. All right. Well, I'm going to pass the mic to Saad. Saad's going to ask Hazel questions. How did she do it? And then after about 15 minutes, guys, we're going to answer your questions in the chat.
Yes. Thank you, Seth, for having us again and again. Hazel, thank you so much for being here. And actually, I would like to congratulate you on the great results that you had. It's very impressive, and for multiple reasons. One of them is basically you made that much money, which is great. And the other thing, you're in a marketplace which is very hard to source comparing to the US. It's the same thing as the Canadian market. So for you to do that, it's phenomenal, and congratulations on that. I really had a few questions I had in my mind, and I would like to ask you, and I think all the audience would like to hear the same. Do you mind if you tell us, how did you do it? What was the budget you start with? How did you source? How you were able to get all these barriers? Was it online arbitrage? Was it a retail arbitrage? So a brief introduction about yourself would be great.
Okay. Well, I started and I knew absolutely nothing about selling on Amazon. In fact, I'd hardly ever bought anything off Amazon. So when I first started knowing where to buy stuff, I just didn't know. And in the end up, I went to like shops in the UK, like big supermarkets like Asda and Tesco. And I soon cottoned on to use the Amazon seller app. So I was around all the shops, trying not to look like I'm shoplifting or something, scanning all these things, hoping, somebody who worked there wasn't going to collar me and ask me what I was doing. But it was actually, to start with, it was really, really frustrating because there was loads of things that I was gated for that I couldn't sell. So I would spend hours trying to find things. And I did that for a while, and you can actually get some good things in store. But then I realized that you could get like sourcing software. So you could sit at home and you can run scans, and then you can come and look at them. So then I started doing online arbitrage and going to the store sometimes. And then I just kind of built up there. And really, once I just kind of discovered sourcing software, I was like good to go. because I could run loads of scans and then analyze the deals and then just carry on. And then I kind of moved to like almost kind of a share in a VA, and would get a spreadsheet sent, so kind of like a leads list kind of thing. So I then got that, so started using that, but I still always use my sourcing tool as well. And then what I do is I find from the sourcing list, if there's a deal usually on this spreadsheet for a certain store, then there's probably more deals at that store. So you can use it to kind of broaden around a little bit. Sorry, I can't remember all your other questions.
No, it's okay. I just want to know a little bit overall how you did it. It's a best mix when you have RA and online. I mean, retail arbitrage and online arbitrage. So retail arbitrage, you go into the store, you're actually finding the products in the clearance where there's a full price, or you have online arbitrage, which is using websites to be able to get the products that you need at a lower price and flip them. The combination is the best thing to do, and it's very good to know, especially in the marketplace. And actually, congratulations of having a VA, a virtual assistant, to be able to help you finding special products. That's really it's an advanced thing to do. And
well, I've got part of one. I share it with other people, so
hey, it's enough. It's one is enough. So, do you mind if you tell me a little bit more about how the business allow you to spend more time with your family, how you were able to do it as a main source of income to be able to take care of your family?
Yeah, well, one of the reasons that I started doing it was because I just got a young daughter, and I didn't want to be out 6 till 7 at night or 6 till 6. I wanted to find something that I could do from home, and obviously it's really difficult looking after a child full time who's now only 2, so into everything. But it means I could do things at night, or I can run the scans overnight and then check them in the morning. It means if I need to go down to some stores or shops, I can take her with me. But it just meant that I could be here and be present and put things down when I needed to do things with her, and then grab time, little bits of time when I can do it. But I definitely don't miss commuting on a train every day, particularly in weather like this. You're crammed in like sardines. I give appreciation of that, the fact that I can be at home and more or less we can do what we like when we like. I mean, I'm not fooling myself. I'm not earning an absolute fortune, but I'm working on it. You just need to do steps.
That's absolutely, you're right. I think a lot of us sellers would take that for granted, the freedom to be able to sit at home, be able to source. When you do online, if you want, your business is not going to stop. You can do online, or if you have the time in the weekend, I do like kind of retail, and it's an awesome feeling to do, honestly. And it's especially, I understand it because especially as of today, we have actually heat wave. It's been, and it's only 38 degrees, not Fahrenheit, it's Celsius. And we already have 6 people died in Montreal, and and it's very bad. It's very sad, but it's reality. People are commuting for hours and hours, especially in summer. So it's really good. Do you have any plans in the future to be able to do a little bit more? Are you doing only Amazon? Are you doing eBay? Are you doing wholesale? Are you doing private label, or that's only retail?
I've been concentrating on this mainly because of the issues, family issues. But now my plan is to try and get more into wholesale, and then into private label, and then I might branch out into other things, like Shopify or whatever's about, because I know that as we go on, at least for the next few years and probably the next decade, people are going to buy more and more things online. So I know there's opportunities for me online to be able to base myself at home and just learn new skills like Facebook ads and things like that, and use that marketing skills and branch into different areas. So I'm not saying I'm always going to do RA and online. I want to do some of that, or maybe get somebody else to take over that, and then start moving up a natural progression and try and kind of expand.
I agree with you 100%. I think online business is going to stay for a long, long time, and is a ladder. So that's why I asked you, what's your next step? It's going to be a ladder. You're going to start with retail, you're going to start with online, then you're going to move to wholesale, you're going to move to private label, you're going to do Shopify, your own. It's a progress. So you need to have that progress. But now you have the foundation to be able to move forward. And I couldn't agree with you more. I think if you'll be able to do all that, you'll be first to market, especially in online. You're gonna be able to achieve a lot and have a lot of income. Like for example, us, we do some kind of sourcing. I have some sourcing agents that I hired to be able to take care of my retail business while I'm taking care of my private label and other things. So you'll be able to expand really, really well. And actually, the opportunity is now.
Yes.
It's less saturated. There's no saturation. It's in the infancy. A lot of businesses are going out of business, and now the time to do it, and especially in summer. Summer is the best time to get the best deals, and also is the best time to store a lot of product that you can sell very well in Christmas in Q4. So we tell Alan and I and Seth also in every platform, we say now the time to start, because Q4 is coming.
Yes.
You're gonna make a lot of money, 4 to 7 times more sales per month in Q4 than a regular month. So this is amazing how you're doing it.
Yeah, I'm starting to get my plan together for Q4 now, because last year it was kind of like, oh, what do I do, and just do my best. But I did quite well. So this time I want to do more planning, get more things in place, and then build up, and then absolutely maybe double or triple what I did last year. I'm just kind of planning it all out now.
It's planning is very important, especially in our business. Like we're already buying stuff. We're filling up the storage area just for that, because I know it's gonna come. Especially a lot of people go on vacations and summers, so a lot of stuff on special. You can buy them now, and you can double, triple your money on Christmas. I have only other few questions, and then I know I'm a little bit asking a lot of questions, but I think also the audience would like to know that. Do you mind if you tell me the BSR you're aiming for, especially in the UK? Because UK kind of has special treatment.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be more careful in the UK. I mean, I guess maybe like Canada, because you can go for 25,000, and I tried to go for 25,000, but because this market is such a lot smaller, you can afford to maybe go up to 50,000. And I've even tinkered with some things that maybe in toys that's over 100,000, and I know it's going to take a little bit longer to sell, but I tried to have a few of them in stock, especially now as it's going to come up to Q4. So I kind of spread it a bit, but I do go for the 33% at least and try and get higher. And I do go for the about 25,000, depending on what category it is. But I do a lot in toys because that's where everybody starts, isn't it, really?
I start with toys as well.
Yeah, so I'm trying to branch out into other areas. And maybe one thing I should have mentioned, when I first started, I knew when I was around the shops that I was gated, and it was really frustrating. So what I did was I found wholesalers, and I got them gated in certain categories, so that when I was around the stores, I could find more stuff. So that was a plan.
This is a great strategy. Basically, if you want to get ungated very quick, you'll be able to do it through wholesalers. Or if you focus on your sales velocity, on your seller feedback and everything, you'll be able to get it, but it's going to take a little bit longer. So you hustled your way, but it's really a great way to do it. And also, I would like to say 25,000. It seems a little bit maybe low for people in the US, which is in the US, they can do 100, 120,000 and below, and they will still do the same sales velocity. Yeah. But you're right. You're becoming very specific about the BSR, because you have a window of be able to sell, hey, 25,000 is going to sell within a month, or is going to sell within a month and a half. So you know what kind of gauging you want to do for return for your investment at the short time period. But later on, as you know now, with your experience, you can go 50, 75, but you have a lot of stock that you'll be able to rotate between the 2 or 3 months, and you'll be still making money. I know the niche you're doing toys is amazing. So my last question, and then I'm going to leave the floor for you, for Seth and Alan. Do you mind if you tell us, how did Just One Dime course help you, how the community helped you, and how much you benefited from it?
Well, it was invaluable to me because I knew nothing about it. I didn't know where to start, really. I didn't know any of the tools. I didn't know any of the strategies that you and Alan, gave me. And then we were the first class, and the first class was quite close, I think, like Nancy. Hi, Nancy. And Eric and so forth were there. So, you know, we could ask questions and you would answer quickly or they would answer quickly. And I think probably the arbitrage group, you know, we're all trying to help each other. So, you know, there's no stupidness that goes on particularly. If you've got a legitimate question, you know, then usually very quickly I say somebody will answer your question as best they can. Or if we can't, you just wait for somebody else to come along and then they'll do it. So we all try to help each other out.
I'm very, we are actually, all of us, we're very proud of the communities what we build, whether in the private label, Just One Dime, and I mean, Seth as the leader and us being under his wing to be able to provide the environment that where everyone can be able to feel like they're home. We're all sharing the same goal. It's very important to do, to share the same goal and have a community that help each other. And we're very close. And I just would like to say sincerely, I'm very, we are very proud of you. We're very proud of what you have done. And I know the sky's the limit for you. And this is a big testimonial of how RA is still alive, and you be able to start a life with little bit of money and you gauge yourself and start building yourself. So I just would like to thank you for that. And Seth, brother, you can take it from here.
Absolutely. And thank you so much, Hazel, for being here today and sharing your story. You know, I think the most powerful thing that this gives people is hope. Hope that you can be anyone. It doesn't matter where you live. I mean, think about this, Hazel. You live many miles from me on the other side of the world, and you are generating income from your computer online. And then during that year time, you mentioned you were able to take 2 months off. You wanted to, you know, whatever you needed to do, you're able to do that and come back to it. You know, most companies, if someone said, hey, I need 2 months off, I'll see you in 2 months, they're like, goodbye, you're fired.
Right? But the good thing was that because it was just before Q4 and just after Q4, because I got so much stock in, things were still selling. So I was still getting some income.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. So your income was still going because of the work you've done previous.
Yes.
And that's the other thing. Guys, if you work for a regular company, they only pay you for the time that you put in. But if you build a business and you build it right, it will pay you even when you're not working. And that's what we mean by passive income. That's why this is so important. So there's a couple questions I'm just going to ask now that have been coming in the chat. And everyone, feel free to ask questions as you go. Let me answer this one first. Someone's asking about the 50 discount. So today, guys, we're doing a $100 discount. So if you haven't joined the arbitrage course, it's $100 in celebration of July 4th. And even if you live in the United Kingdom, you can still do it. And all you have to do is put in July 4 in the coupon code at checkout. That's the link. And I just had it to you guys, and that's the code. So this won't go on forever. But for this July 4th week only, you'll get $100 off of the whole course. And as I mentioned before, there's 540 minutes of training. You have weekly Q&As every week. And then as Hazel mentioned, she's in that community. It's not, guys, it's not like you just take a course and you're done. You're getting live training that's updated as Amazon changes. And that's one of the most important things. I even hate the word course because I think a lot of people abuse it and use it just to generate real fast income and create this false urgency so they really quick get a sale. That's not what Just One Dime is. We are a community of people. Saad and Alan are brothers to me. And we work together and constantly are learning from our own sales in Amazon and applying that to teach people. That's what I love most about it. Just to give you guys an example, the next 2 Fridays, we're going over PPC ads in depth with one of our coaches. And we're going to be teaching people the latest methods that work that we are testing on our stores. That's what makes it real. Versus, hey, let's make a course. Anyone can make a course, and then they never see you again. It's not like that. You're part of a community where people are answering questions. I mean, sometimes you'll get 20, 30 answers to a single question in the community. And these are good answers. These aren't the kind where people just rip into you like, oh, that's a stupid question. No one makes you feel stupid for asking a question, and please don't ever. Okay, so a couple questions for you, Hazel. I copy-pasted them over here, so don't forget them. What software? You may have already answered this, and if you did, I apologize. I was focusing on the chat. But what software were you using to automatically find those deals that you mentioned?
There's different ones like this tactical arbitrage. There's FBA Wizard. There's a new one out called Mogul. Oh, I can't remember the second name of it. There's a few different ones around. I'm not sure if you've got different ones in the US than here, probably.
Right.
but they were the main ones. To be honest, there's so many tools. I try not to get too many.
I know exactly what you mean. It's overwhelming.
Yes, and so now I've got a little set that I use. And at the minute,
yeah,
it's working, so I'm just kind of using them.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, guys, is Saad and Alan teach you how to use the tools. You don't want to use all the tools. There's so many on Amazon. Even 3 years ago, there were hardly any compared to what there are today. The key is using the best tools. And I'll have to add to that, the Amazon Seller app, when you're going out sourcing or you're sourcing online, is powerful in and of itself. And there's no cost for that because it will give you the profit if you know the cost. It will give you the details if it's gated or not, which is super powerful. Another question for you, Hazel, is what percentage of your profit is online arbitrage and what percentage is retail arbitrage?
Probably to start with, it was more RA, but then it moved more to online. And now I'm almost, apart from, maybe 5-10%, I'm pretty much online arbitrage now, just because I don't have the time really to go around all the shops anymore. Yeah. With a little one in tow. So it's, it's harder to do now.
So you can be at home with your little one while you're making money. You don't have to go drive sitting through traffic to get to an office, sit in a little cubicle under these life-sucking fluorescent lights and sit there all day like a drone. You actually get to be at home and build your business. Again,
I'm never, ever going to do that again.
What's that?
I'm never, ever going to go back to working in an office and commuting again.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe it. That's awesome. Another question that came up is, one thing I'm going to mention first. When you mentioned doing it online, here's another key, guys, as you build your business, build it in a way to save you time. So there is a joy, and my wife still does it because she loves it, of going out and scanning items and finding them. The other day, my daughter, she wanted to go on a date. So I took her on a date because I date my kids because I think it's really important. And she wanted to go clothing shopping. Okay, now keep in mind, she's in a family that owns multiple businesses and technically millionaires. I don't say that in arrogance. Guess where she wanted to go? To Goodwill. Like, of all places, because her mentality is, here's the money I have because she has her own budget. Here's what I have to spend. I'm going to go there to save money. I don't care. It doesn't have to be new. That kind of mentality is why I think she's going to be successful as she grows older. I absolutely love that. But you, I see, Hazel, you can do it all from home. You don't have the time to go out. So you sit there at your computer and you generate $67,000. That's crazy. Okay, there's some questions in the chat here. Let me go back a bit. So yeah, the course is $597. It is 100% for beginner to advanced because each session covers a different part of arbitrage from beginning to end, Kamal. And Derek is correct. It's $147 a month. If you want to continue to receive leads, you can stop the $147. You still get the whole course. That's for getting a bunch of leads 3 times a week. And can you expound on these leads a little bit, Alan? Because people are asking about them, brother. Like what is a lead and what do you value there?
Yeah, well, basically what we do is we do research and find products that are selling at a low price, and you can have a profit margin on them. We have a team of VAs. We do almost 95 or 97% of the process manual. So we don't use any software anymore. And what we do is we try to find products that are within the 1 or 2% of their category, and at least have $7 in profit and 40% ROI. That's our goal, and sometimes we have leads that have a lot more than that, but we try to be we try to have that as the minimum.
So basically, when I receive these leads, I get a Google sheet and it has where to buy it from, how much it's going to cost, what its BSR is, and then I can generate the expected. I know what the expected profit is as well, and I get this 3 times a week. So they're constantly being researched and refreshed, new ones.
Yeah, so we get 15 leads every day, 3 times a week.
15 leads every day, 3 times a week. So I can use this to find out what product should I source, because that's one of the scariest parts is how do I know, you guys, if the product's going to make me money? And I'm going to ask you this, Hazel, because this is a question that comes up so much when people ask my wife, how do you do it? How do you know before you buy the product that it's going to sell? I mean, I know you don't know 100%. No one knows that. But what do you do to de-risk yourself So that, yeah, if I buy this, my chance is very high that that's going to sell and I'm going to make a profit on that, because you're spending money before you make the money. And that part scares people, especially if they're a beginner.
Yeah, well, the first thing to do is get the price, check the BSR, and then what I do is I try and put it into see if I can sell it, because if you can't sell it, then there's no point even thinking about buying it.
Right.
And then I use a tool like FBA calculator or something, and then work out, you know, everything that's going to cost me, and then what profit I'm going to make. And then I always try and look at Keeper as well, look at the history of it, seeing if the price I'm being given now, because sometimes with this software you get a false price.
Right.
It's a lot higher than it normally sells. You know, I've been caught before like that, but you know, Keeper's your best friend. Make sure you check it. And if it looks like it's got a good history and a good price where I'm going to make the amount that I want, or even if Amazon's on it, but they're selling it at a good price and they're sharing the buy box, then, you know, I'll give it a whirl and maybe buy a couple of units. And if I think I can get some later on and it sells, then I'll restock and keep doing that as long as I can.
This is really important, you guys. Notice she mentioned Keepa, so you can see the price history. What she's saying is if today I find this product and it says it's selling for 20, and I look at my Seller Central app, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm going to make 70% profit. This is awesome. But then actually over the last 3 months, it was only selling for $14. That 20 is an unrealistic spike. So it's going to give me false hope. So if I buy it, I'm going to be disappointed when the price drops down to $14. See what I mean? So that's what she's talking about, is understanding that history. And then second, the BSR gives you an indication as to the speed of how quickly it's going to sell, because the ones that sell faster get a lower BSR number. So there are certain parameters, guys, you want to go by to gauge your success. And back to the leads list, those are in the top 1% to 2% of their categories for the BSR, because BSR is relative. If I look at BSR in sports, it's very different than kitchen, than handmade goods, because handmade goods has far fewer items than sports, than kitchen. Therefore, the number of items, if the greater the number of items, the lower that number, that the BSR, the speed at which it sells is affected by that. Because, for example, let's just say there's 100 items, okay? And my BSR is 1. Obviously, it's selling super, super fast, selling the best. But if there's 1,000 items, and now we're looking at the number 1, we know it's selling the best out of 1,000. That's an even stronger number, because it's like the winner out of 1,000 people racing. Hope that makes sense. Would you add anything to that, Saad? Do you think I explained that clearly, brother?
You are on point, exactly. Each category has different products, amount of products, and whatever the rank is, the lower is the better. And for sure, bigger the category and lower the number, you can have more sales. That's why, for example, home and kitchen, or beauty, you have a low number. That means you're selling a lot. But if you go to, for example, to industrial and scientific, it's going to be completely different. The 1,000 is not the same as 1,000 beauty. So absolutely, you're right, 100%.
I think Pranay asked a really good question, you guys. And everyone, listen to this question, because what Pranay's doing, I can tell. He's thinking, how can I, this is strategic. Listen to this question. Roughly, how long would it take to get to 1,000 a month? How long would it take to get to a point of 1,000 a month where I can dedicate just 1 day a week? My starting investment is $2,000. So I'm going to throw this at you, Saad and Alan. He has $2,000. He's ready to start. His goal, and I love that he has a goal, because Pranay, your goal is going to start at 1,000, but let's go for 100,000 in the future, because you can do that. So he starts at 1,000 a month. How long should he expect it to get to that? If he has 2,000 to spend, what are your recommendations? And his hope is to get it to where he's working on it just 1 day a week, so we can do other things that he loves during the week. What do you guys think?
My experience, at the beginning, I started with just less than $200, but my plan was to my goal was to go at least 6 months of building the business and growing my inventory before I would take any profit back. So I was able to build my inventory to a big amount. And then after 6 months, I was able to start just living off my income on Amazon. So at the beginning, I would say focus on just building your inventory, building your the amount of products that you have. And if if you can start with $1,000 or $2,000, it's gonna be a lot faster to build the inventory. But it's gonna take you at least 3-4 months to kind of get to the point where you're selling enough inventory to have a profit. And I would say just focus on the longest that you can do it without with investing just 100%.
Case Law says, I purchased the arbitrage course about 6 months ago. Is it current and updated? Yes, 100% it is, Case Law. And the other thing key about this to you guys is not just the videos that are recorded and the documents, the PDFs you get, but the live Q&As every week. So for example, let's say you're in the course and something changes with Amazon over that week period, you're going to hear about it in that next Q&A that Saad and Alan lead, and then as well as in the chat as well. This is why I believe all courses or memberships should be fluid. And what I mean by fluid is you're part of a community, think about this, where thousands of different sellers, networks, whatever, advanced people, new people are selling, and they're learning as they go. And the leaders are expert sellers. And by expert, I mean they make a lot of money selling in Amazon, and they've been doing it for a while. And that information is constantly dripping into this room that you're in. And this room is where you can ask questions. So if you run into a problem and say, wait a minute, last week this was working, now but it's not, someone's going to say, oh yeah, by the way, here's what happened. You see what I mean? That's what I mean by fluid. It has to be changing as you go. Maga, that's a cool name, says, can you do it from any country on earth? Yes, you can. It's more difficult if you live in a country where Amazon does not exist. And by exist, I mean they don't actually have a store that serves that country. Like Amazon.com obviously is primarily for the United States, Amazon.ca for Canada, Amazon.co.uk for United Kingdom. Okay, that's obvious. But if you're in a country where Amazon doesn't sell, you have to set up a company, ideally in one of the countries where you want to sell, and get a bank account attached to that. And World First Bank and Payoneer are the two best options for that. And then what happens is, because you're in that country, when Amazon sends the money, it'll go into that bank, and then you can have it deposited into your local bank in your country. So it's the banking issue that's the biggest challenge, but you can do that, and we teach you how to do that. Hazel S. Clawford says, thank you so much for sharing your experience in arbitrage strategies. And Susan says, do you mind writing down the name of software here? You mentioned tactical arbitrage. There was one more you mentioned?
There's FBA Wizard. I mean, I can put links on or mention it on the group if you want. I don't know.
That'd be absolutely awesome. If you just want to mention them on the Facebook group, and then if you send them to Saad inside, you want to chat them to me, I can add them to this video too, so you guys can go back to the video later and see those links. That would be awesome. Okay, so let's keep going. What if I want to sell items that have my custom logo and custom images? Will the course teach me how to do this? So Big Mad Star, in that case, you should take the private label membership, because that's what you're talking about, is building your brand, which is different than building arbitrage. So that's what private label is for, is when you want to build your brand with your own logo and custom photos, and it's your own unique listing. If you email seth@justonedime.com, I can email you back with more information on that. The capital is not my problem, says Rawan. Finding a profitable product is my problem. I'm trying tactical arbitrage, but didn't find what I'm looking for. So Rawan, my question is, how long, brother, have you looked? How many, if you were to add up the total hours you spent, how many hours have you spent on that? Because sometimes it takes days, and in the beginning, and Alan, I think you would agree with this, it takes longer because you don't have as much experience, but over time, you get faster and faster and faster as you find niches. Like, oh my goodness, this niche, like shoes, Alan, right? You found shoes, made a ton of money selling shoes, as we did in our talked about in our last video. So guys, it takes time to learn how to do it. If you join the course, yes, of course, we're going to help you get faster, and we'll do everything we can to help you get there, you guys. Guys, my greatest joy in these is when people email back and say, look how much money I made. In our other course, someone shared, he just reached his $100,000 a year mark. Awesome. Like, that makes me so happy to see that, you know, like it's happening. People are making money and finding freedom through it. Yes, you can do arbitrage sales from Mexico 100%. And Amazon is in Mexico, Nana. Is tactical arbitrage still a very viable tool? Can I use it exclusively? Is it too saturated? What do you think, Saad, Alan? Tactical arbitrage, as far as its value? Honest answer, guys. What do you think?
Softwares, for sure, they have their own benefits, so we're not against tools. We love tools all the time. But what we recommend in retail arbitrage is not to use softwares because for this problem, saturation, you don't know how to use it. It gets over complications. So that's why we don't recommend it. We like to do it manual. That's what we have. I mean, we could have just, hey, go ahead, get a tool and just find the lead list for you. But we found out it's not the right way to do it. So that's why we go ahead and we have VAs to go manually to check everything to make sure everything is right. Because a lot of times it's going to be skewed. And as Hazel was mentioning, keep a history of each product that you need to make sure that is really selling well over time. So if you get, hey, Amazon has a sale today, and you saw the product, the BSR is too low, and you found tech developers, oh my God, it's amazing, but then you didn't see that actually Amazon had a 75% off. And then you cannot sell it anymore. So yes, you can use them, but I prefer the lead list, honestly, because they're more detailed and more checked with multiple people.
Yeah, and I want to share something with you guys about the leads list. So as you guys know, once you've been doing this for a while, you have your own places, stores, online places you go, and you just have, like, I'll be totally transparent. We get a lot of stuff from Walmart.com. We resell it on Amazon. It works awesome. That's one of our favorite places. Forever 21 is another awesome place. So my wife has these niches that she just goes deep on, and she loves them, and she knows what to do. And every week we get boxes showing up, and it's awesome. So we went into the leads list for fun. Like, hey, let's just have fun with this. So we picked one item, guys. We went to Home Depot. We bought it. It sold within a week. We didn't even think of it. Let's just try it. Let's just test it out. Boom, it sold within a week. So we got more. So every time I go to Home Depot, like, boom, we sell it. And now we're buying it online, and we sell it on Amazon. And it works. And I don't even know if the item's still on the leads list. But that right there has made us far more money than the entire cost of the course in the leads list for a year. That single item. So it works. Like, you have a whole team of people doing that research for you to help de-risk you as much as, oh, and here's the cool part, guys. When you become part of the membership, that first month, you get the leads list for free. It's not an extra cost. If you want to continue later on, it's $147 a month. But for the first month, you get it for free. So that alone is, in my opinion, is worth the entire course itself.
Brother Seth, I think people are asking this question for one reason. I just would like to clarify it a bit, because Hazel, she's in the UK, and our lead list is not UK based. It's US. That's why she had to find her own ways.
Yeah.
For people in the US, they will have a very, very good products in there.
Yeah, very good point. And my respect to you, Hazel, because what you did is you spent the same amount of money everyone else is doing without the leads list for the month, and you still making it happen.
Yeah,
So,
I was going to say, if I was selling over there and I was new, I would get the leads list because it would identify stores for you to get more stuff from. Yeah. And it's so easy compared with what I had to do.
Right.
You know, to get stuff, you get it on list, buy it, send it in. I mean, you should still do due diligence, but, you know, just as a matter of course. But yeah, I mean, I would do that if I was starting off or I was selling over there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Word Girl. Oh, go ahead, Hazel. Sorry.
No, I was just.
Okay.
I wasn't going to say anything.
I see World Girl has a question. Good to see you, World Girl. I don't know what your real name is, but I know you always ask questions in these meetings, so that's awesome, and I hope it's helpful to you. So Word Girl says, can I have 2 separate arbitrage products already selling by others on FBA and bundle them together to sell? If yes, would I get my own UPC code and then create a new listing? So this sounds like a private label question. Alan, do you want to take this one, brother?
Yeah, there's one strategy that you can use called bundling, where you basically do that. You know, you get 2 items, you put them together, but when you do that, you have to create your own listing, have your own UPC code, and you do get a little bit of benefit because those 2 products are selling well, you know, on a separate listing, and especially if they're brand names. So you might be able to sell your bundle at the beginning. But the main thing on the bundling is that you do have to treat it almost like a private label, because you have to start doing promotions, you have to do PPC, and once you start selling and you get a good BSR, a bunch of people are going to jump in and do retail arbitrage on that listing because it's not yours. It's basically another listing on Amazon. So it has some benefits, but most of the time we don't use it as a retail or online arbitrage method.
Great answer, man. Thank you, brother. Joy Brush says, is the arbitrage course for beginners? 100% it is. It is also for advanced. We have the way we build our courses, I hate the word, but courses, is so it doesn't matter where you are in that process. If you come in, Yeah, some stuff you know already if you're already advanced, but we go deep on that topic so you get everything you need to advance further. The highest money making Amazon seller, whoever joined one of our courses, does over 7 million a month, over 7 million a month. And they joined and they found incredible value in the course that reached them to over 8 million a month within that first year. So just that year alone, $1 million, like boom, you can't argue against that. That's awesome. Other people join, zero experience at all, no experience. And they join the arbitrage or the private label course and they start brand new. It's built in a way so that you do it. It's coming out of what we do in our life. The best way to teach something is if you're teaching out of your experience. So you know what it feels like through the ups and the downs and the problems that you will run into. Okay, I'm going to take 2 more questions. We're going to wrap it up, guys. Pranay asks, when I hire someone to go out hunting for my products, I love this question, what kind of personality should I look for in my employee? I'm interested because what if they just go and do RA themselves? Great question, Pranay. So there is no guarantee you can keep them from doing that, no matter what. So when you train someone, you could be training your competitor. That is very possible. I met with a company here in Austin, and it's a coaching company, actually. And I met with them for a similar reason. And I can share further. You guys can see how transparent I am with you and with coaches right here in this room. And I said, how do you make sure you don't train up your own competition? Because fear, like, what if I train someone to be so good, they could just go out and do what I do. And I pretty much built competition for myself. The same thing when you're dealing with virtual assistants for Amazon stores. We have market researchers who research products for us. And so there's no reason they couldn't go and just sell it as well. There are 2 things, in my opinion, that you want to look for. Number 1 is relationship. If you build a strong relationship with that person, the most valuable thing now in that relationship is not the knowledge, but the people. And so working with people who you feel like they would climb a mountain for you and you would do the same for them, that makes it so much better. And when you do that, you can be more successful doing it together than apart. And that's what convinces me. There was one guy, he joined our membership. He was super excited about it. He's doing very well. He got to over 10,000 a month. He's in another country. And he reached out to me and said, Seth, I'd really like to partner up with you for a different country. And I was really busy and I said, I'll get back to you. And it took me over 6 months because we have so much going on. 6 months passed and he had begun to create his own courses and everything. And they looked a lot like ours. And so I reached out to him and I said, look, I see what's going on. I see what you're doing. I have a question for you. We're going to enter this country. Would you rather do this as business partners or as competitors? Which do you want? And he quickly said, I'd rather do it as business partners. And so he's taking everything and moving it over underneath the Just One Dime brand so we can work together on this. So again, I think if you position it that way, like, can we accomplish more? Which means you need to add value to that relationship. But second, it's just the relationship. Now, is there always a chance that could happen? Of course. And that's part of the risk of business, Pranay. And that's the other part that the coach who's mentoring me said, by mass, you win by mass. If you become so effective at what you do that that person simply would not succeed as well if they did it by themselves, because you're working with so many people who are helping each other. See what I mean? So you want to get someone, I mean, with what you're talking about, if you're going to get someone who's like a business partner, there's a lot of advantage in that. It could be, though, what they're doing, they're just going to do one part of it for you and get really good because you don't see them as a business partner. Therefore, with that limited knowledge, there's no way they could go build an entire business the way you've done because they're just focused on that one part, like how to find a potential product. That's not everything it takes to build a business. You have to have knowledge like Saad and Alan have. You have to understand how to start your store, how to work with competitors, how to run ads. It's much more holistic, how to scale. It's a bigger picture. Sorry, guys. A long answer, but I love this question because this is something I think about a lot, because we own several businesses. So anyways, there you go. Honest answer. All right, cool. The course teaches you how to make a lead list manually. Yes, it does. No problem. What do I do after buying the course? What is done after? Nana, you will receive an email to be invited into the Facebook group. You'll get access to the training. You'll become part of the live Q&A every week, and we'll get you set up. You'll receive an email automatically in the next steps. The way it's built is to have next steps on what to do each time. Okay, guys, awesome, Joy. If you're signing up on Saturday, then I'm thinking here, guys, the discount is still live. So, guys, again, type in this, July 4, and it'll save you $100 if you decide to join the membership. Either way, guys, I want you to know whether or not you join, we love doing this, and I hope it helps you succeed, you guys. But I will have to say that discount won't last forever. So this is honest urgency. Alan's like, guys, let's do a discount. It's July 4th. I'm like, sure. I don't think Hazel will be offended, do you? She's in the UK, July 4th, you know. No, she doesn't care. All right. Well, anything you want to add, Hazel? What advice would you have, Hazel? What encouragement would you have to people watching this right now? Because, Hazel, there was a day where you were making nothing. You weren't making money. You had zero. And then you started and you got to 67,000. That's so cool.
Yeah. I mean, I would just say I was just looking for something to do online, you know, something that could sustain me for a while. This seemed like a good one. I just started. Just start. And then just take it step by step. Don't try and do too much at one go. Listen to your gut instincts about things. Try and sort out your software first. You know, ask for advice. You know, learn Keeper. Learn the basics first, really, before you start, because you want to know what you're doing before you start sourcing, and then not make so many mistakes like I did when I started. You know, use the tips, and then you'll buy, you know, better quality stuff and you'll make more profit.
Yeah. I'm going to say what she said in a different way. Stop sitting on your hands. Get up and get going, guys. Like start. Whatever you need to do, start today. There's never a better time to start than now. As I think Saad said earlier, the longer you wait, the greater risk you have, because the more people are joining Amazon. And still, it's a tiny percentage of people buy online compared to retail. So get in now, a huge opportunity. But guys, wherever you're at in your business, don't wait. Get going. Start. Don't come up with, oh yeah, once I get this done. And no, you'll always have another reason not to start. You need to start now if you're serious about this. Otherwise, you just wasted an hour, 48 minutes of your life just now. This is a waste of your time. So use it and go make money with it. Go crush it, you guys.
Yeah. One recommendation I'd make for the UK anyway, is that with regards to ungated and things like that, if people are serious about starting this, then to get a limited company, because that opens more doors for you later on. And you can be VAT registered if you want to be VAT registered as time goes on, or right from the beginning. And that kind of gives you a bit of a leg up. Just putting it out there.
Thank you so much. And I'm typing this. Boom. Thank you so much, Hazel. I really appreciate it. Thank you for taking value from your experience. You didn't read a book and teach. You did it and you teach. And I love that. And you have my respect. Thank you. Thank
you, guys.
All right.
I enjoyed working with you lot.
All right, guys, have an awesome day. Get out there and start. I'll see you later.
Happy 4th of July.
Thank you. I was going along. See you guys later. Bye.
Take care, guys.